Welcome back to another solo mining episode. So, to address a lot of the comments that were made in some of the earlier episodes, obviously, people mine all the time as far as enjoyment, just like people will do ratting and stuff as enjoyment and things like that too. So, advising people to actually just do what they love and eventually pay for their own Omega, I don't think is a bad thing. And also the fact that this series is a mining series and also it is a challenge doesn't mean that I am going to go and do abyssals for a mining series. So keep that in mind for this series moving forward. If it was an ISK issue or getting to Omega in X amount of time issue, then yes, there's probably better applications in mining. But this series is for people who enjoy mining and like to do that as their day to day, where they don't necessarily care about getting Omega immediately. And also, if you dropped like the 3 billion on this character to get Omega, chances are that first month is not going to be very worthwhile or profitable, just because they wouldn't immediately be able to get into a high-end Mackinac or a high-end Exumer in order to actually turn that 80 million. The point is to actually utilize your playtime, which you're already doing as mining, and being as efficient as possible, and also just enjoying yourself. So, with that being said, we'll be talking about the grind a little bit, or the challenge as we'll call it here in the future. And eventually, this character will pay for itself for Omega. We're not going to try to do it in 30 days. We're not going to try to even do it in 60 days. When it happens, it'll happen. And we'll probably actually get to the point where we'll have the Plex or the ISK to be able to actually get that Omega. But will we pull the trigger on it? Probably not, because we're going to try to set ourselves up to where we can turn around, consume a lot of SP after getting Omega activated in order to get into a high-end Exumer or really kind of max out a mining barge to do what we want to do. Now, miners will usually be doing other things other than just mining, as terms of like having daily income. And so that means industry or product discovery or whatever, right? But like I said, this series is primarily geared towards people who already decided that they enjoy mining and they want to have as much guidance as possible. So this is not going to be oh, well, you're better off doing abyssals, or you're better off doing ratting, or you're better off doing into low, or even nullsec in the beginning. Because one of the big reasons why I've kept this character one jump out from Jita is so that I'm stockpiling everything that she's mining in Jita for a fast turnaround and just, accessibility to that market. Now, if you can make more doing like gas sites in high sec or in wormhole space and in low sec and stuff like that, but that's not really accessible to most people, because in order to really be effective with gas mining, you don't only need to train the gas skills, but you also need to train the scanning skills and have a decent understanding of the game mechanics in order to actually survive and do that sustainably. One gas site is really good here and there, but if you want to actually try to tell people that on paper gas mining is the best you can do as an alpha, on paper you're true, yes, but how often are these players going to be out there looking for gas sites, not finding them when they could just have lasers on in high sec? Also addressing some of the issues too that I've seen in the comment section as well is how you actually get around the extortion and stuff that's going on in high sec. And most of the time I really don't have an issue with those people. I've had that issue in the past when I first started playing, but I usually just try to stay one jump away from Jita, or I try to stay around, go around starter areas, or within like one or two jumps from the starter areas where it's a little bit more, where you actually have a way to I guess combat like ganking and stuff like that, because players are not allowed to gank in starter areas. So if you're still at the venture mining phase and you're at the very beginning, then being in a starter area and getting ganked, at least you have a reasonable ticket that you could put in for that kind of thing. You're not really going to stop the extortion, right? It's just crappy role players, and they've been around for years, and It's just, there's no real way around it. That's why I usually, on all my mining tunes, I'll kind of stick them kind of close to either starting areas or close to Jita, and try to offload ore in the beginning. And then once they actually get decent skills, I just take them to null, where we don't, you don't have to deal with the extortion of high sec and things like that. But as far as the grind goes, it's essentially just going to be, for me, I've been just kind of going pretty casual at mining in the venture. I'm not doing 12-hour days. The numbers that we went over in the last episode were literally just, that's where they are. They're the numbers, they're the hardball numbers on paper. Now, that's not an expectation. I'm not going to sit there and do 12 hours a day mining in a venture. I'll go out there, I'll do a couple of runs or whatever, and the idea is actually just to have fun and to stockpile. So the idea is actually, the challenge is that eventually we will pay for Omega. We'll be completely self-paid from just mining, but that doesn't mean that that first Omega month is going to come within 30 days or 60 days, and probably not even 90 days, like I said. So I just wanted to clear, in this episode, I just wanted to kind of clear up the, I guess there was some confusion in terms of what the goal of this series was, and what the purpose of actually doing a grind like this is, because that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day, is just being a challenge. But for the most part, it's been pretty chill, just kind of going out to the belts, flying around. And the reason I actually mine Veldspar is because you get more units in your hold than any other ore, because it weighs the least. But really, like I said, I want to say like the first or second episode or so, we're going to not just be mining Veldspar, we're going to be mining even Scordite. We're going to try to take whatever we can just to diversify, since I'm going to be holding all that ore, and I'm not going to be selling it at all. We're literally going to hold all that ore in Jita and just kind of accumulate a large amount of cubic meters of ore and things like that. So obviously, if you go out and get rich plag, then yes, that's probably better. But if you're dealing with just the limitations of the 5,000 cubic meter of the venture, if you go out and fill up on dense Veldspar, it's going to be worth more in hold than if you had 5,000 cubic meters of rich plag in most cases. But the idea is we're going to be just kind of diversifying and mining everything that we possibly can in this series moving forward. Now, we're going to be moving around quite a bit, and I want to try to share as much tips and kind of, things based on my experience as possible as we kind of progress. But for the most part, we're going to treat these episodes as kind of, I'm going to be answering a lot of questions that you might have from the comment section and everything. And then once we actually go from like going into the venture and we get ready to go into like that procure, we'll do a much more in-depth episode as we prepare to like kind of move from one ship to the other. But I think I just wanted to clear up kind of what my goal and what the point of the whole purpose of this series is. And with that all being said, I hope you guys are still excited. I know I'm so excited about, going through this challenge and everything like that. And I'm excited to go and start progressing through the different tiers of mining ship. And who knows where we'll end up. Hopefully we'll get to go as far as we can and, experience and have a lot of fun in different situations and everything. So thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one.